Hello everyone, and welcome to Pass Through Time. My name is Dakota, your PM, your DM, your GM, and this is a special episode, as you can probably tell from the title. We ran out of stuff to upload, unfortunately. We haven't been able to record in, like, over a month at this point, I think. So, we ran out of backlog, so we had to pull some stuff from our Patreon. So what you're listening to right now is going to be a compilation of stuff over from our, well, it's no longer called our bronze tier, I forget what it's called. I really should know that. But, so this episode is going to be brought into two segments. The first segment is going to be our funny moments section. We have a bunch of funny moments that are pulled from the episodes in no particular order. Excuse me. And our second section, which is going to take up the majority of the episode, is the stories that we recorded specifically for Patreon. Like a year ago, something like that. I don't remember how long it's been. So, yeah. Audio quality may be variable because these were pulled from many different episodes. So if there's background music in them, it's because it was pulled from the episode after it was edited. I'm pretty sure. So, if you hear background music, I'm sorry, I can't pull that directly right now. So, without further ado, enjoy. His eyes at you.
Sammy, stop talking to me. I'm trying to go back to bed.
What the? You go back to bed, because I got tired of you trying to snuggle me again last night.
I'm not!
I know I'm big and soft and cuddly, but dang. We've gotten real close recently. You know, we're pretty good friends now, but stay away from me while I'm sleeping. I'm an animal in bed.
Whoa, wait, what?
Whoa!
Freezing there, Sammy, freezing.
You hear that, ladies?
Oh my god, that's a clip for the Patreon. Jesus.
Oh, that's a great one. That's a blooper right there.
Jesus Christ. Don't cuddle me too hard, Walter. I'm an animal in bed. Okay, what do you get?
Fellas, friends, I fell out of my chair and just laughed on the ground.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
fucking hell.
In my mind,
Okay.
I was just thinking that he, like, kicks and moves around a lot. And
I know
that's
that's what you meant, but that has a whole
and
other
for whatever reason, that
connotation.
translated to animal. And immediately once I said it, I was like, shit, that's wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, except for those times I took you to surfer competitions on Brainbreeze Island, you've never been outside of Vigil Beach. How do you
Except for
expect to
those few
survive out
times.
there?
Yeah.
How do you expect to survive?
We're Pokemon. We don't die.
Sorry.
Straight facts. We don't die.
Jesus Christ. I was not expecting. We are Pokemon. We do not die.
And then Zekrom followed Reginald into the factory with Reginald's headstock trailing behind him throughout the doors.
A neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
His headstock.
His tree trunk leg, his tree trunk neck.
Sorry.
Yeah, Reginald's long ass neck, which is how long is that?
He's
exactly.
Size of a
aren't they 36
skyscraper.
feet? Yeah, they're like 36 feet
yeah,
tall.
it was like 30 some feet or something like that. Okay.
I rolled a 14 for a handshake.
I rolled a
Alright.
1.
Evie, Evie
uh,
missed completely.
You gonna like give me a handshake and slap me across the face? What do you do?
I would, I accidentally scratch you.
Okay. Ow.
Roll a d100. I heard the word scratch.
Please, no.
Roll a d100.
Okay, I've got a D100 right here. Let me roll it.
But I also have one, and I just rolled it already.
What do you got?
Oh, no, I'm not kidding. It did give
No,
me
you
100.
did. No, you did.
No.
Give me a show your screen. I'm not. No, no,
I
no.
do
That's
not
not
believe
happen.
So, sorry guys, the world's ending. In the actual system, it says, for Scratch. Let me pull up Scratch.
Okay, well.
It says roll
Dakota,
nat 1
you said
D100. Nat 100 blows up the universe. Okay, sorry guys, world's ending. Bye.
Sammy's gonna like ask the two monkeys. Is just you guys? Is it just the two of you here? Isn't there usually like a third green monkey that kind of, you know? I think there's like, you know, there's usually like a red monkey, a blue one, and a green one. That's like a thing, right?
It's awfully racist of you to say, but but now that you mention it, yes, Jared is at the temple right now, so he wasn't able to make it. No.
I do apologize. I didn't mean that to come out like that. I just, you know.
I figured as much. That's why I didn't really take offense to it or anything. But,
you know, I'm real sorry. What? Here, let me make it up there. What's your name?
My name is Sprigatito.
Sprigatito the Pantsier?
Fancy?
Yeah, that's me.
Wow, Sprigatito.
Well, Sprigatito, you've been real kind. I thank you so much for helping us. You've been such a big help.
Of course, yeah, of course. As long as you don't get my bad side, I don't really care what you do. And he's like, well, have a good one. I'm getting back to this, and he gestures towards his drink.
Sprigatito turns back to drink his Tito's vodka.
Yes, he sure does.
Okay, so I guess Hikaru wanted to go talk to the bartender then.
Sure, we'll do that.
Yeah, I want to see if I can buy a couple berries off of them.
You want to buy some berries off of them?
Maybe.
Are you asking that to the bartender?
Not yet. No, I'm just doing some exposition. Yeah. Hey, excuse me, Mr. or Mrs. Bartender.
Yeah,
Hey,
the Lucario looks at you is like, you can call me, what's my name again? My name is, my name is Zekrom.
Zekrom.
Wait,
the Lucario. All right.
This bar just filled with Pokemon named other Pokemon names?
And Zekrom isn't even supposed to exist. Nobody knows about Zekrom.
It's a made-up name, I guess.
My name is made up. Trust me, it doesn't mean anything. Don't look into it, please. Don't. It doesn't mean anything. Don't look into it. Okay. Anyway, what do you want? He whispers underneath his breath.
Oh, I know a thing or two about illegal. Okay. I know a thing or two about illegal. I eat all the pizzas at my family's pizzeria all the time, and they don't even know. We'll make a pizza, and I'll eat like 5 or 6 slices out of it before we send it away.
Hold on a second. Wait, what? You're like, hold on a second. We gotta back that train up. Hold on. So hold on. When Sammy makes pizzas for like his,
you ever see like online where like people will like make a pizza and then like cut a whole slice out and then squish it back together?
That's exactly. That's what I was thinking of.
It's just that, but literally half the pizza is gone, and it's like every other 8th slice of pizza is just missing.
So what we do is like what we end up doing, right? Like they'll order a large pizza and I'll deliver it to them. I'll be like, hey, you know, here's your small pizza, and they're like, oh, I guess I did order a small pizza. Here you go. Here's your money for a large pizza.
So do you serve it to them with no crust, or do you like take a circle out of the middle?
What? No, just like a slice or two. Or I think I said 5, but that's an exaggeration.
Oh my god. So yeah, if you cut it like to make a large pizza into a small pizza, you have to like cut all the outsides out, right? So there's no crust. So do you just serve it to them with no crust, or do you do
No,
the
no.
inverse?
See,
Where
what
you
he
take
does
out the
is he just
center?
takes like a quarter of the pizza out of the middle, like how he just like cuts the middle out and then smushes
Yeah,
the two pads.
You just like cut a
the rest
line of
back
middle,
together.
of pizza middle out. Yeah.
So
Eli gets
hold on,
it.
you scoop out the middle and just stretch.
No. You take the pizza cutter. You do a line, and you take that piece out, and then you put the rest of the pizza together.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't say that with a straight face. Oh my god.
Wow, that sounds
stretch
hella
the-
complicated.
It's not complicated. You just take a strip of pizza out and then push the rest together.
Yeah.
Why can't
the rest together?
It
Why
just
can't I
happens
say
to
that with
be
a
like a
straight
quarter of the
face?
pizza or half the
Yeah.
pizza
Oh my God.
sometimes,
Holy
depending on
crap.
how hungry.
Oh, I know we've already moved past it, but you take a circle out of the center and just stretch
No, not a
the rest of the
circle.
pizza inwards.
Not a circle.
No,
Just a strip. You make two straight lines through the pizza,
yeah.
and then you
Like a
take that
plus
strip out.
symbol?
No.
What?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, you
Like
take
a
two
plus
straight.
symbol.
No, not a plus sign.
Like a
Oh?
Listen
is
to
there
what I'm
like
saying.
another circle in the middle?
Forget about circles. No circles.
No,
The
no
pizza's not
circles.
cut. When you're cutting the
Okay.
pizza, you do one straight line in the middle, and then another straight line next to it, and then you pull that strip out.
I see. Okay, so it leaves it an oval. I thought you were going to do that,
No.
but in both directions, vertical
No.
and horizontal.
No.
No.
Two vertical lines, and then you take that
Now, the
strip out, and then you
question-
smush the pizzas.
The question
Yeah.
is, does Sammy serve square pizzas? Because that would be much easier to do if they were square pizzas.
It depends on
It
the
doesn't
occasion.
even
If it's-
matter. As long as your lines are equidistant from the center, it still becomes another circle when you push it together.
I love this.
Sure.
I love this so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, now we've got the riveting discussion of stretching and altering pizzas out of the way. Let's get back to the bar. So you guys are like having this whole discussion, and like the Lucario is trying to butt in. And he's like,
Wait, what discussion?
I,
I'm not. We weren't discussing this amongst the party. I just told him, "Hey, I get it. I take a little bit of pizza out before I deliver it. If that's kind of illegal."
sorry, that I was no, okay, that's fine. But I was just like imagining that, like you said, "Hey, I do something illegal," and like you and them have like this whole discussion. But, okay, all right, that's fine. So yeah, you say that. You tell them. All right. So fuck, I can't. Crap.
You've broken him.
You have broken me.
I didn't think it was that hard to understand. I'm glad Eli was on the same page.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got the image of you stretching pizza.
At least one of us knew what the videos that Shawn was talking about were like.
Hold on. Give me a second. I gotta take my hoodie off. I'll be right back.
I think I remember seeing this in the Amazing World of Gumball, where Richard got a job at a pizza place and did the same exact thing.
What's the amazing world of Gumball?
Okay, let's go.
Out
back
of
to
character.
this.
I'm not answering that question unless you actually mean it.
Yes. All right, out of character, whatever. So, Zekrom looks back at you guys, and he's like, Walter, real quick, if you don't mind. I take it your last name is the same as your mother's, correct?
Oh yeah.
Your name is.
And his name is John C.
Hey guys, Future Dakota here. This is the start of segment 2 of this episode, where we'll be telling stories that have not yet been released on the podcast. So, all new content from here on out, but I do have to give you a warning. The reason they were never uploaded to the feed is a lot of this audio is echoey, and it was audio that could not be repaired. So keep that in mind while listening. The audio quality on this is not great, but the stories are really good. So, just bear with me and deal with it. So, have fun.
All right, now we're here for adventures in the Alsace region of France. And I was there with a group called American Music Abroad. It was a group that took high school musicians to play in a bunch of concerts over in Europe, playing American music, and it was a fun trip, but nice, interesting thing that happened. We were visiting a cathedral in the Alsace region of France, and we were supposed to be going on a walking tour right after. So I was going through the cathedral, taking pictures, checking out all the cool stuff, looking at all the stained glass, all the organs in there. And at one point, I looked around and didn't see anybody from the trip. So yeah,
no.
they just sort of left me there at the cathedral and went on the walking tour without me. So I just spent an extra 2 hours at the cathedral before they came back for me and brought me to the hotel.
They're just like, there you are, and just plucked you up and took you along.
Yeah.
So, did you find out why they lost you? What happened? Why did they abandon you?
So everyone was getting. There was over 100 people on the trip, so everyone was getting into small groups for the tours, and my group for the tour just didn't notice that I was not there until they were already left on the tour.
Jeez.
Wow.
Okay. Damn, just completely forgotten. Good
Yeah.
grief. Did you happen to see an Evelyn while you were out there headbutting children in the park?
I did not,
Choke slam.
unfortunately. But yeah, one of my friends on the trip later told me that when they noticed that I wasn't there, he was like, yeah, he's probably still back at the cathedral taking pictures. And he was
How old were
exactly
you at this
right.
point?
And
Yeah, how old are you at this point?
Summer between sophomore year and junior year of high school. So I
Okay. I was imagining you were like 10 years old. Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was a trip for high school students.
Jeez.
So I was like 16, I think, at the time.
So did anything else? Did anything come of it? Like, they literally lost an entire child. Did the teacher get in trouble or something?
No, not really.
Of course not. Okay.
Because, I mean, there was, I think, 8 adult chaperones who were all different conductors for the groups. And so the reason I was on the trip at all was that there's a music school in my city that has a youth wind symphony for high school students, and the conductor for that got invited to go on this trip. So when the time for the youth wind symphony came around, he put out an invitation to anyone who wanted to join in. And I'm like, sure, sounds like a fun time.
Man, yeah, that kind of reminds me of a program my school did. Every 4 years, the entirety of our grade would get to go to either New York City or Disney World, and it swapped between those two every 4 years. And my year, I was supposed to go to New York City. But unfortunately, this thing called COVID happened, and it was the only time that trip ever got canceled, and it was the year I was supposed to do it. So that was fun. This is a similar thing. I was supposed to do something very similar to that, but I've been to New York City before, so it's not that big of a deal, but still, kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I was in middle school, they would take the 6th graders on a trip to some like YMCA camp in New Jersey. And then the 7th graders would go to would go on a trip to Boston, and then the 8th graders would go to Washington D.C.
Yeah, we
I've
had
been
the
to
same
Washington,
thing.
D.C.
8th
way too many.
graders go to Washington, D.C.
I wonder if it's like
Yeah.
some curriculum you guys shared. I don't know.
It's possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, my school was in
used to-
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. I'm trying to remember where Brooklyn is. That's a part of New York City, right?
It is. It's one
Okay,
of the
sorry, I
boroughs.
can't. Okay, I couldn't remember because I know there's like Manhattan, there's Brooklyn, there's the
Queens.
Queens. Yeah, that's one of them.
Brooklyn's the place that people in New York are afraid to go to. Used to be.
Really?
Can you guess the other two?
The other two. Oh my god. Let me think. There's. I'm assuming it's like the metropolitan area? Question mark.
Well, just the 5 boroughs of New York City itself.
The 5 boroughs of New York City.
Brooklyn 99.
You already said Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan. Oh god, I'm trying to see the map of New York City in my head. I'm gonna know it as soon as you say it, but I got nothing.
Okay, there's another B.
Bronx?
That's
Bronx,
it.
yes.
Bronx.
Yeah, the Bronx.
And
Okay, there's
then
the
the last one?
Bronx. And then there's
Thought we had 5. Manhattan, Bronx,
4.
Brooklyn, Queens, and
Manhattan. Manhattan, that's 4.
right.
And the
think I
5th one
mentioned
is the Pokemon Center in Manhattan. It's its own borough. I don't know.
Its own borough, yeah.
I generally don't know. I don't know too much about New York City.
No, me
It's-
neither.
It's Manhattan,
Staten
Brooklyn,
Island.
the Bronx, Queens, Staten
Staten
Island.
Island?
Staten Island is a
considered
borough? I did
Yes.
not know that.
Borough? Isn't
It
that
is.
the immigration island?
It's technically a borough of New York. It's just
That's
like
not
it's
a borough.
yeah, it's just like physically closer and culturally closer to like the nearby parts of New
Does
Jersey.
Does
than it is
anyone
to the
even
rest of
living
New
on
York
Staten
City.
Island? I thought that was. Isn't that the place where the immigrants went to? Is that like the immigration office?
That's
No.
Ellis Island.
That, yeah.
Ellis Island. That's what I was thinking of.
They
Okay.
basically went eeny, meeny, miny, mo for which island was going to be the last bureau.
Okay.
I don't blame
Why
you
are we
though.
talking-
Staten Island, it just doesn't feel like a part of the city.
I don't know Staten Island though.
So you have to take a
'Cause
boat
I
to
thought
get
that was
there.
Ellis Island. I bet there's people who in New York who have to take ferries to go to work to every day. I don't know if that'd be great or miserable.
That'd be miserable.
Well, you probably
you don't
wouldn't have
like
to deal
boats.
with as much traffic.
It's
Fuck,
traffic-
darn pesky boat traffic.
Fun fact, when they built the Verrazano Bridge connecting Brooklyn and Staten Island, Robert Moses intentionally designed it so that trains couldn't fit on it.
Why?
What? Did he have a beef
He
against
hated
trains?
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, sure.
He just like
We'll go
loved
with that.
cars.
He's like, darn all those trains and their inefficiency. We need more pollution in this air.
Yeah.
I shall build this bridge, but no efficiency will come from it. That
You-
is my law.
You know the
I
fast
don't know
walks
why
they have
he sounds like
airports?
that, but he does.
You know the fast walks they have airports? Why don't we just have that
Yeah.
everywhere? That'd be
Just replace all the sidewalks in New York City with fast walks. Oh my god.
No one would take the cars. It'd be
No
so
one would
fast.
ever use their cars again. You're just going like 30 miles an hour down the road just walking.
Honestly, like people would.
Oh my
that'd be so
God.
fun. That'd be so fun and
Oh my god.
a lot better.
Kids would be playing around on it all the time.
There'd have to be so much maintenance on it though, with how many people would be on it.
I know it's kind of like why the Hyperloop isn't really going to be a thing, or at least I seriously doubt it's going to be. Have you guys heard of the Hyperloop?
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Hyperloop is a train that is sealed in a vacuum tube.
Like a bullet train?
Yes, it's basically a bullet train, but it's supposed to go faster because it's in a nearly frictionless vacuum tube underground.
Listen,
Now-
there's no point why we need that. Like, if it bumps any and hits the wall at all, like when they're on the ground, and that speed, it's killing everybody.
Yeah, that's rapid decompression. Everyone's just insta-dead.
I don't think we
And,
need a
like,
bullet train in the first place. We just need regular trains.
The maintenance cost. Oh my god. Could you imagine just one
liabilities.
slight little pinprick and it's just like a balloon deflating? The whole hyperloop is gonna be down.
Like,
It's gonna cost like billions of dollars.
think of this: if a chunk of rock falls in the cave and like gets in the way of the roadway, and then like the thing goes over it, makes it shake a little bit, it is
the
not
thing
gonna
is-
have. It's gonna be so fast, it's not gonna be able to get steady again.
Well, the thing is, the entire tunnel is made of like solid vacuum sealed metal. Like, it's not cheap. Like, it's one
There's
of
no
the
point of it.
least- There is no point of it. It's so ineffective just because of the sheer cost and maintenance and how many things could go wrong. And,
Honestly,
like,
hear me out. For overseas travels, you know those fast walks? Just do that. Just find a way to
Over the
make.
ocean?
Yeah, find that. But since it takes a while, have like pit stops where hotels over the ocean. You know,
Oh
you know
my
how you know how the people make their own the people who made their own nation because they made like their own little like metal town, so it technically became a nation.
a metal town?
Yeah, people built something on the water and made their own nation because it
Well,
was
if it's
in
an-
international
Took over
water.
an oil rig.
Yeah,
Is that what
it was an
is that
oil
what-
rig. And
I'm
an
thinking
oil
of
rig off of
Sealand, right?
England became a sovereign nation.
Still, it could be the
Oh.
same thing. They could just do what just make it oil like an oil rig type like hotel.
Huh. I don't know. I love the idea though of just fast walk across the entire Pacific Ocean. You're just walking for like 40 hours
Just-
straight.
If you do a great
Oh,
workout,
jeez.
there's either the walk option or the place that just lets you sit down while you go.
You
like a
just you're
girdle.
just walking. You're just walking in because you're just walking and like during the middle of the night, you just step over some homeless dude who fell asleep on the fast walk.
Oh my god,
no.
that'd be so bad. A dude was like spent 2 days going there, fell asleep, accidentally rolled on the other platform that's going the opposite way.
He went back to the start.
His,
I feel
Oh,
so bad.
no.
his hoodie gets snagged on the end of the fast walk.
Or even funnier, half of him's on one side, half of him's on the other, and he's just eternally spinning.
You spin me right.
Okay,
around.
all right, this one's gone on long enough. We'll see you guys next time, guys.
Oh, that was my view. All right. I was waiting for the one.
you're up. Yes,
I
you're
was
up.
waiting for the one. All right. This is I got no name for it, but this is what happens. when
No,
you
this
trust
is
your-
not acceptable. Come up with a name for this.
Even if it's a bad one.
Even if it's a
Camp-
bad one.
Disaster at camp, which is we're not even at a camp, but we did camp. Disaster while camping. There we go.
Disaster while camping. Dun, dun, dun.
All right. So my family, we like going outdoors, but we don't really like going far out. So we had a little path we dug, like we'd remove branches, mow down there, like make a little path that we could just camp out there, like with on fire. So we went there, had s'mores and everything, went to bed. We wake up, me and my sisters, we wake up to our family, to my mom and dad, gone. Just gone. It's heavy raining. There's a tear in the top of our tent, so water's just pouring in on us. We go inside.
Suddenly you hear footsteps from the corners of the shadows. Thud, thud, thud. And you open the curtains and you see Bigfoot standing there.
Looks like my
Sorry.
self-conscience.
Sorry, just had to state the obvious.
We go look for my parents. They're not anywhere. They're not in their tent. They're not anything. Like, their stuff's gone. Alright, so we go inside and we find them sleeping in their beds, all comfy and everything. And we wake them up asking for an explanation. They tell us that they got called from one of our neighbors that cows got out. I can't remember if it was ours or someone else, but they got up like at 6 o'clock while it was raining to get the cows. They didn't wake us up or anything, just left. They put
at
the
least
cows
they're
up in
lucky
like an
sleeping.
hour. No, they said they saw the heavy rain and how bad it was getting, and they didn't want to take a risk getting wet. So they went inside to go to bed and didn't tell us about it. Meanwhile, we're there soaked.
Well, hold on. Were you guys getting? Excuse me. Were you guys getting soaked in your tent?
Yes, we woke up to a tear in our tent.
Oh God. Okay. Well, that's different. Okay. I thought it
Like-
was just like your parents didn't want to put their soaking wet clothes on, go out to the tent, and just
No.
get water everywhere in the tent or something like that.
No. They just left us. I don't know if they saw a tear or anything, but they didn't want to go back to the tent. So they just left us. We had to grab all our gear and walk back to the house while it was raining.
Well, as we discussed earlier, children's bones, they're made of rubber. And you know what rubber's known for? To being waterproof. And if there's anything
about
I know about
hypothermia?
children's bones, it's that they're waterproof.
What about hypothermia?
A little hypothermia never killed anyone.
Oh, I had a bad case. We were all had a cold after that day.
It's actually kind of funny because I have a story about hypothermia, but we'll get to that later.
It was just a bad day. Apparently, we found out later it wasn't our cows; it was the neighbors. But they thought it was my parents, so they got called anyway.
Hold on, wait. Your neighbors thought your parents were cows?
No. Cows got out, so one of our neighbors called us thinking it was our cows, but it wasn't.
Oh, okay. I thought you. Sorry, the way you worded that, I thought you said your neighbors. It turns out there were no cows. It was just your parents.
No. That'd have been a diss.
Damn.
But they all. It was still. We never went camping after this. We never trusted them. Every time they said you want to go camping, we shot them down. We're like, well, are you gonna stay this time? No, didn't think so. So
What do
no.
you mean you never went camping? Like you
We
guys
never-
never did any family camping
We
ever?
no, yeah, we never went camping after that. We never trusted them again.
Wow. How long ago was this?
Jeez.
What a sad
see.
life.
That was about 13 years ago.
Oh my God. you
So you
poor
haven't
thing.
been camping
Not
in
13, not
13
13,
years?
12. It was more like 10 years actually. Yeah, 10.
Yeah, because like
Still, you haven't been
mean-
camping
Oh no,
in
I
10
went
years?
now. I went camping like 2 years later with my cousin and my grandpa. Now my parents.
Okay.
I was gonna say
Oh.
because like outdoors is a huge part of my life. Like I'm
Hey,
always outdoors. I love
Speaking
hiking.
of
If I
Bigfoot,
had-
we woke up to a big footprint right outside our tent. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was gonna say
The footprint. I don't.
The conspiracy.
I don't believe it's real, but there was a big footprint. I was thinking it was some animal that was there, like a deer that just like twirled.
A deer's footprint is so big; it's bigger than a man's footprint. How big was this deer?
I don't know. I rolled out my tent and it was an indent in the ground.
Okay, but was it big?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you compared it to a deer, and if there's one,
I
thing
was just
deer are
thinking
known
like a
for,
deer.
it's not having big feet.
I was just thinking it was deer later on and just rolled like on the belly. Or it could have been a deer. I don't know where they just rested.
Yes, because a deer is going to go up to the front of your tent just to lay down.
Naturally.
So sure.
What else are they gonna
Naturally,
do?
of course. Not lay in front of your tent? That's crazy talk.
I don't know. I'm just trying to find an explanation why there's an indent in front of our tent out of nowhere.
I don't know. Maybe it's where you guys were walking around to get inside your tent. Maybe it's where you
Nah,
guys took your
I was
shoes off.
I was the last one in the tent. There was no bump.
Well, was it nighttime when you guys went to bed? Because it's hard to see an indent in the ground when it's nighttime.
I didn't feel it either, buddy.
Oh, so you were specifically feeling over the ground around for giant footprints, were you?
Listen, little man, you want to go? I'll go
Oh my
right
God.
now. You never
Oh my
want to.
God.
You never want to argue with an idiot. I will keep going until I'm right.
Yeah, well, I guess that just means an unstoppable force is gonna meet an immovable object because I can go for like this forever. What is that supposed to mean?
You
Anyway.
better start some fountain words, buddy.
So you were saying something about hypothermia earlier, so I guess I can sort of tangentially tell my story of hypothermia, and I do have a title for this story, and I call this one the coldest and shittiest night. Because it really was the coldest and shittiest night. It was miserable, and I could have sworn I was gonna die.
That's a new Christmas book.
What, the coldest and shittiest night?
Yeah, for parents, not kids.
What a Christmas book. All the children were sleeping.
It was a night
not
before
sound,
Christmas.
Not a mouse was stirring, and then Santa decided not to show up. It was a cold and a shitty night.
It was the night before Christmas. All through the night, all you could hear was the parents yelling, "This night is cold as shit."
All you can hear throughout the house is the parents screaming, "I want a divorce!"
Oh no.
All you hear is just arguments and arguments as you lay by the campfire. Not campfire, blah.
The campfire.
I was thinking of the fire pit.
Oh god. Anyway, to
Off
rein us
topic,
back
but,
in.
I'm eating a
Go on.
warhead right now. It's really
Oh,
sour.
I Sour Patch Kids.
Hey,
Chips.
I've also got
Hell
Sour
yeah.
Patch Kids.
Let's go! Sour candy all around.
Not
Yeah.
currently eating them, but I have them.
Oh, I have a bag right here.
Yeah,
I'm just
I've
eating
got a
chips.
box right here.
I just saw the waveform of me making that noise. I think I just jump scared everyone.
What?
I might I don't know, if I remember I might bring that down a little in Audacity.
Looks like it clips at some point.
I think it did. I blew up my microphone. Anyway, so the coldest and shittiest night. So this is around the time when I first got my motorcycle. And when I first bought my motorcycle, we got it running, and I had this half helmet. You know, it's just the top helmet. It doesn't have any chin support or anything. And I did not like that. I wanted a full face helmet to get the wind off my face, and my bike is really loud and whatever. I just wanted a full face helmet. So I decided to go up to go over to Cleveland, Ohio, to get a motorcycle helmet. Because they had this really nice motorcycle shop there. So I went to Cleveland, Ohio, and there was this, I forget the name of the shop, it doesn't matter. I ended up buying a motorcycle helmet. I bought a phone holder, which ended up being a piece of shit. But I was in Cleveland, so I decided, why not? I'm gonna go visit Lake Erie. So I ended up driving up to, I think it was like, what did it say? It's like Rose Park, I think that's what it was called. It doesn't matter. But I was going to park my motorcycle here, right on the edge of the lake, basically. Oh yeah, it was, because that's where we saw the fireworks last time, for the 4th of July. Anyhow, so I go to park my motorcycle, and like a stupid idiot, I ended up dumping my bike, and I ended up breaking my clutch handle. Now, this next part's gonna sound like it came out of, like, a cartoon, but I get on my phone and I just start looking around because I can change a clutch handle really quickly. I've got some tools in the back of my motorcycle because it's got, like, a little storage compartment under my seat that I keep a bunch of tools and stuff. Anyhow, so I get on my phone and look for, like, all of the motorcycle shops around, and all of the shops around, keep in mind, this is a Friday, all of the shops around, was it a Friday? I think it was a Friday. I don't know. But all the shops around ended up closing at around 6 p.m. Do you want to know what time it was? It was 5:59 p.m.
Wah, wah, wah.
I swear it sounds like something out of a cartoon or something.
Did you call them like right before they closed? I would have come to you. I would have helped.
No,
Like, sorry, we closed early.
Topolo, be quiet. The cat is screaming. Meow. Quit screaming. Meow. He's being loud. So I call the I don't call anyone, sorry. I look on my phone, like, all the shops. There's no shops around me that are open at this point. So at this point, I am like 100 miles away from home, and I'm stranded in Cleveland. No way to go home because you can't drive without a clutch. And so I'm just like, great. I don't have the money for a hotel. So, I just spent my paycheck on a brand new helmet, and
So I'm now stuck in Cleveland on Lake Erie. Thankfully it was like late spring at this point, so it wasn't terribly cold, but it got down to like 50 degrees that night or something like that. And I ended up, my God, my cat won't stop yelling. I ended up just laying on my bike half the night, and I just couldn't go to sleep because at this point I was working night shift for well, I was about to say a company. I'm not going to indulge that. Um, for the company I was working with, I was working night shift at the time, and my shift was I want to say, yeah, it was 7 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. So it was like the worst night shift you can imagine. So I end up because I this is like typically morning for me at that point. So I'm just like, great, I'm stuck in Cleveland for the entire night. So I called work. I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it into work tomorrow because I'm stuck in Cleveland for the next couple of days or whatever. So I end up just having to walk around Cleveland, entertaining myself for the entire night. And I'm just like walking up and down downtown Cleveland. It's very pretty. And end up like it was at that point I remembered that I had no food or water. And so for the little money I did have, I ended up going to some like really cheap restaurants and stuff, and I like bought a case of bottled water that I put in my backpack that I had on me. And at some point I ended up returning back to the lake, and I ended up just laying on my motorcycle and like put my feet up on the dashboard and just like laid down on my bike because apparently you can do that. And I tried going to sleep just to pass the night, but I just could not because my body was conditioned for night shift at that time. So I ended up just staying there the entire night. At that point, I was the night passed. I was awake for about 12 hours, which is pretty standard. Would you quit your screaming? My cat is being so loud. Holy crap! Jeez, I'm sure you guys can hear in the background. Yeah, you. What are you doing, buddy? Being so loud. Anyhow, so at this point, it's morning, and this is around the time I usually go to sleep. It's like 6 a.m. in the morning, sun's coming out or whatever, and I start calling around some different shops. They're like, nope, don't have this. Nope, don't have this. I finally find a shop, and I have to walk the 6 miles to the motorcycle shop, which takes forever. And I finally get there, and I talk to him, to the guy. There's just this one dude running this rinky-dink little shop. He's like, yeah, let me see if I can find a clutch handle for you. And he's like, do you have any pictures of the damage? And I'm like, no. He's like, I don't know what handle you need. And my bike is 6 miles away at this point. So he's like, let me see. So I tell him what bike I have. We try and figure some stuff out. He has 2 clutch handles. So he literally just sends me on my way with these 2 clutch handles for absolutely free. And I end up walking 6 more miles all the way back. And at that point, it's getting to like late afternoon. I stopped at a restaurant at some point during the day. I had run through my bottle of water that I brought with me. And at that point, I had been awake for about 20 hours or something like that. And I finally get back to my motorcycle. I don't have the right tool to install it. So I had to look up on my phone a hardware store around me so I could find an actual screwdriver that I could use on my clutch handle. Because there's one specific bolt that's holding in. I could undo everything because I had like a crescent wrench and a flathead screwdriver. But
Quick
the flathead
question.
screwdriver was too big. What?
Why didn't you just roll the bike with you while you're walking?
Dude, my bike weighs almost 700 pounds. It's a big bike.
Seems like a you problem.
It's not that easy, especially when we're going uphill. I would never be able to push that thing 1/10 of a mile. Those things are not that easy to roll around. They're not like bicycles. It's like trying to push a car. Except you're trying to balance it the whole time. So I ended up looking around. There's an Ace Hardware near me, so I ended up going there, buying a screwdriver. And at this point, I'm extremely worried that I don't have the money to buy anything else. without delving into my credit cards. So I end up getting back finally. I don't remember how far it was, but it was another couple hours till I got back to my bike. Thank God it was not stolen, because this is in the middle of Cleveland. And there's like that song about Cleveland, and literally what there's like there was like an old promotional song about Cleveland, and one of the lyrics is like, "Don't go to West Cleveland or you'll die." It's like this whole thing. Cleveland's not a great city. Um, so I finally get back to my motorcycle.
Shout out to
It's
all our
coming up on-
Cleveland viewers, if there
Yeah,
are
I hope
any.
you don't live in West Cleveland, or I feel bad for you. I get back to my bike. I've been awake for about 24 hours at this point, and I still have like 100 miles to drive home. So I finally get this clutch installed. I call the shop. I'm like, "Hey, I got it installed. I can drive over and pay for it." And he's like, "Nah, don't worry about it. You've had enough trouble today." And I'm like, "Thank you, for God's sake." So yeah, he actually just gave me the whole clutch handle for free. It doesn't fit properly, but it functioned, and that's what mattered. So I finally got my clutch handle going, and I can finally go home. So I finally get on the freeway, and at this point, it's like 8 p.m. or something, and it's dark again. And I've been awake for, like I said, like 24 hours or something like that. The hours are fuzzy to me, so it was about a year ago that this happened. And I finally get back on the road. And at this point, it's like 40 degrees outside, and all I have is a hoodie and a t-shirt on. Now, I don't know if you've heard this, but there's like a kind of like, I know it's not a rule, it's like a rule of thumb. If you're on a motorcycle, if you're going 55 miles an hour, take the current air temperature, decrease it by 20 degrees. That is the current temperature of air that is rushing past you at 55 miles an hour. So I have 100 miles to go home. And it just feels like it's 20 degrees outside with 55-mile-an-hour winds, and I have to endure this for multiple hours on the freeway. And I was getting so miserably cold. I ended up stopping at a gas station and getting some coffee, and I got back on the freeway. And at some point, I just stopped feeling cold. It wasn't until later that I realized I was getting the beginning stages of hypothermia.
Holy cow!
And like, I just like, oh, I'm perfectly fine. I must have gotten used to this temperature. So I just went the rest of the way home without stopping. I just felt fine. I also want to point out I didn't have any gloves at that point. So my hands were like nearly numb the entire time.
Oh no.
Why not? Why not wear gloves, you know?
Because I was really cheap. I didn't have my full riding gear like I do today.
Should never rode that bike until you're fully prepared.
I didn't care back then. I'm still alive now. No point in dwelling on the past. So I finally got home, and I lay down in bed and fall asleep instantaneously. But I like, at some point during the day, 'cause I slept during the day at that point, I woke up in some like heavy sweats for some reason. I don't know if it has something to do with hypothermia or the fact that I had just then gone 28 hours without sleep. But
Could be
I
both.
was so miserable. I felt like I had a fever for the next 2 days. I ended up having to call out of work. And that was the day I ended up getting, the day and a half, 2 days, I ended up getting stranded in Cleveland because I stupidly dumped my bike. So, yeah, that is the coldest and shittiest night.
So you're telling me the entire thing was because you had skill issue.
Exactly, because I'd only been riding for a couple weeks at that point.
And you drove 100 miles away.
It doesn't help that my first bike was a 750, which I should not have started on. Like, you're supposed to start on a much smaller bike, like a 250 or like a 500. I went for the big bike right at the start. And that did not help me at all. So, yeah, that happened. I'm still alive, but I very much could have died that day. From multiple factors.
Oh, stop being dramatic.
Oh, stop being dramatic. Okay, thanks. If you were on there, you probably would have died before I did. It was only my sheer will that I survived.
Brother, you want to compare wills? Let's go.
Anyway, that'll do it for this episode. This one's a double-length episode. I didn't expect my story to go on for so long, so we will see you guys.
Yeah,
in the
me
next
neither.
What? What do you mean?
Wow. She got.
I also
she
didn't
got
expect
mad.
the audio to go on for 22 minutes.
I did not expect this going that long. I didn't expect my story to go so long. I thought it was going to be
You
short.
did it,
Anyway,
Dakota. You made her shout at someone.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next time.
I call this the Pasture Rumble.
Pasture what?
Pasture Rumble. I'm going in my southern accent or country accent, whatever one. So imagine this. Just a wee kid, 7-year-old kid. I see my mom and sister go out because they were going to check on cows in our pasture. I'm like, that seems fun. I just got done with all my feeding with my pigs, so I thought I'd go hop the fence, start walking towards them, and then I see my cow, a cow that I've raised since a little calf. I've gone up to scratch the cow. I've showed the cow in shows. I walk by it. It must have thought I was getting too close to its baby calf that it had with it because it was a mother. It charged me like a bull and threw me in the air and pinned me to the ground. I just hear...
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like,
cow.
it was beating me on the ground. And I see, you see my mom, like, full on. She just grabbed a random pipe on the ground and just, like, not a pipe, but like one of the rubber, pipes that move through water in it, like the
She
plastic
found
pipes.
a rubber hose.
No, it was like a plastic pipe. And she just started
What
wailing
materials
on
are
the
made of?
sucker.
Is it lead? Is it metal? Is it rubber?
It's
What kind of pipe
plastic,
is this?
buddy. Don't make me...
Okay, it's a PVC pipe.
Yeah. She started beating on it, and then the cow moved away, and then it's like it called backup because it ran, and 3 other cows joined it, and it started, like, slowly approaching my mom. My mom full on, like, fireman carried me and chucked me over the fence, and she full cleared our gate. And the cows just looked at us and just sniffed at us like they were about to charge us again.
Jesus
And
Christ.
I could barely see because I got beaten up badly. But I see my sister slowly walking away in the background because my mom forgot her. Because she was so worried about throwing me over. She, like, slowly walked to the gate, like the opposite gate where I got in. And just opened the gate and closed it with no problem. And ever since that day, I never went into that pasture when we had calves out there. When it was regular cows, sure, I fed them everything. But when there were calves out there, I told my parents no. I was not
Jesus.
going out there again.
Jesus, did you, like, break any bones or something?
Surprisingly, no. But, like, it was like... if it had horns, I would have died that day because it was like headbutting me on the ground, like back up, hit with the head down. Like, it was going for the kill.
That's what it sounds like. Jesus.
Yeah, and keep in thought, I raised that little guy since it was born. Like, I bottle fed it. So I felt
that's neat.
so betrayed when that happened.
So that cow must not be very old then.
Cow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was basically, I got the cow when I was like 6.
And you were what, 6.1?
I was 7 when this happened.
Okay, I don't know the rates at which cows grow, so I'm gonna assume that's an adult.
I'm gonna tell you now, my memory's been fuzzy ever since. With stuff.
Yeah.
You
That
lost
cow
half
did-
your brain.
That cow probably did so serious damage, we never went to the doctors.
How
Like, they're
serious?
like-
I mean, how heavy was
My
the
family
cow?
just... Oh, God. Oh. What was that? That was a while ago. I'm trying to think. It was a decent sized cow. It wasn't nothing like ones they send to like the get meat. Like, this was not a dairy cow. It was just the one to give birth to. So an average weight like 1,000, like around that.
Okay.
Well, calving cows turn into dairy cows afterwards because they have to actually give a calf in order to
Yeah.
produce milk. So
It depends on what
point,
kind of breed it is,
basically-
because different breeds can weigh different stuff.
I actually don't know the breed of cows that was on Mr. Wilson's farm, which is the one I was a farmhand on. But it was just like the stereotypical white and brown cows.
Yeah, my cow was the black and white one. It had white and its white face, like white, like pageant face with black all over it.
Yeah, it's not like we had anything fancy like Highland cows or anything.
Oh, I can only
How
imagine
bad
those. Oh, go ahead.
How bad did you get hurt?
I was out for the rest of the day.
Like
Did you break any
knocked out?
bones, at least?
No. I was gassed. Like it knocked the air out of me. Like my mom. Surprisingly enough, I got more damage when my mom chucked me over the fence.
That's funny. Your mom did
Dang.
more damage to you than the cows did.
Yeah, we were all surprised at how little damage it is. Like we all thought it was going for the kill, but some of us think like it was just trying to scare me and not hit me.
Your mom saw the cow doing damage and she had to join in. She picked you up and spiked you over the fence.
Honestly, like she like grabbed me by, you know how they grab you like by your arms, like on your impet. She grabbed me and just threw me over.
Just absolutely yeeted you over the fence.
Yeah, I was on the ground like, what just happened?
Those things are terrifying though. Like, I don't know. I guess to a
Oh,
normal person that would.
If my mom wasn't
I've
there,
had
I would die that day. I would have been dead.
I've had to herd cows before. Those things are terrifying.
So have I. I've had to lead one through like when it rained and they got out. I had to. Oh, it's another story I have. But that's for another story about cows.
Jeez.
I've heard that like kids don't get as hurt from these kinds of things. Like one time I was
their bones are rubber.
Right. Yeah, and they also weigh less. Like I was in Paris once and like I was like playing around in these they're not rocks, they're like metal sculptor thingies with my friend, and then I crashed into a kid who was there, and I was like so scared.
Hold on. Wait.
That I hurt him, but
you crashed into you ran someone over?
Oh no, hit and run.
Like yeah, I was running around in circles and I just like ran into this kid.
This has gone from a cow fight to hit and run.
Sorry, I thought you were talking
younger
about
Evelyn, not current day Evelyn.
Oh,
this was kid Evelyn.
I thought you were just
no. I was like
murdering
24.
a kid.
This was last year.
Last year?
Why were you in a park running?
Why were you running in circles?
Because it was fun. I think the kid was like playing hide and seek with me and my friend.
Normal Evelyn activities. Let me go to the park in Paris, run in circles and run kids over.
She just choke slammed that kid.
Yeah, so I like profusely apologized to the kid, but my friend was like, "Oh, I crash into kids all the time."
What do you mean you crash into kids all the time?
She got wanted poster there.
He like was teaching English at a Spanish school at the time, a school in rural Spain, and
the kid was? Or
no, no, my friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, okay. So, and like he works with these like elementary and middle school kids, and he tells me like, oh, they get like they bump into things all the time, and it doesn't hurt as much as it does for adults. He was like, that kid's gonna be fine.
To be perfectly serious, I think it has. I've heard of this before, and I think it has something to do with the fact that kids go limp when they get hurt, rather than like stiffening up or like reacting to it or whatever. I'm not sure the exact science behind it, but for some reason, I just have a vague memory that that's like why is kids tend to go limp when they get hit, and that really reduces the impact of the impact.
I don't know how much you can reduce the impact of a cow headbutting somebody.
I don't know how much you can reduce the impact of an Evelyn hitting somebody.
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
All right. That's all for this story. We'll see you guys next time. Okay, so I'm going to start us off, and this story is called I Set My Motorcycle on Fire.
Great starter.
Yes. So,
oh my god, what?
So it's not like an actual like, oh, I broke my bike, blah blah blah. It's not exaggeration. I literally set my motorcycle on fire a couple days ago. So what ended up happening, and I have to have a little bit of a preamble here because when I first bought this bike, most of the electricals on it do not function. So like the brake lights did not function, the daylight running lights did not function, none of the turn signals functioned, the headlight did work.
So why'd you buy
And
it?
I bought it for $500, and the engine was perfectly sound. The engine itself was worth more than that. And me and my brother fixed it up, and it ran perfectly fine. I'm still driving it around to this day. Like I was literally on it earlier today.
Oh, so it still works.
Yeah, it runs flawlessly.
It survives to the
It's
fire
just
and
that
the
the
flames.
electricals- Oh yeah, and the tachometer doesn't work. But right. So because I go to work so early, I head out to work at about 4 a.m. It is dark outside, and I have to have daytime running lights because my bike is black. I wear a leather jacket for wind resistance and a black helmet, so I am invisible if I don't have some kind of light on me. So what I did is I don't know if you guys see it. I actually have them right here. But I have these little tea lights that are controlled by a remote that you can turn on and off. And they're just little LED tea lights that you're supposed to put like on their table for like I don't know, romantic dinner or something. They're meant to be put in like mason jars for like a electric candle or something. But what I did is I stuck two of these things behind my tail light cover, and I used the remote to turn it
Oh.
on and off whenever I get on the bike. Okay. And
No.
this, no. This worked for the last year and a half since I bought this bike. I've been consistently doing this, and it works flawlessly. Like, it was perfect. The only thing is, and this is an important fact that we're gonna get onto later. The way I kept those tea lights in place is I crumpled up like a bunch of paper towels, and I stuffed them in my tail light to keep them in place, so they
Fire
would
and
always stay in place.
fire and paper towels.
So
What a great combination, Dakota. What a great
okay,
combination.
so just recently, I had my motorcycle in the shop, and they were just doing they were replacing the master cylinder. My brakes were getting weak. I had to get my brake fluid flushed and changed anyway, and I don't have the tools to do that. But on top of that, I don't know why they did that. They fixed up my electricals for free, which I am very grateful for them doing that. And so everything works on it now except for the tachometer and the turn signals. So my brake lights work, my daytime running lights work flawlessly, and everything's working like it's supposed to be except for the things I just said. So, however, one thing I have to note is the motorcycle I have is a 1983 Yamaha XJ750 Midnight Maxim. Okay, and the reason that's important is because the LED, not the LED, the bulbs that that are in the taillights. If you can imagine an old light bulb, that's what they were. They were incandescent bulbs. And if you know anything about incandescent bulbs, they get really hot. So I was driving home from the shop on my motorcycle, and I was like, huh, something smells like it's burning. And my taillights are on the back of my bike, so I can't see anything. I can't I don't know. It was really, so I get home. I'm like, huh, it smells like my clutch is burning or something. I wasn't running it that hard. So I get off my bike. I'm at home, and I just take a quick look around. I open up my little oil plug to check on my clutch clutch plates, and everything seemed fine. The smell was not coming from there, and I finally make my way to the back, where the smell is coming from my tail lights. And if you can put two and two together, you probably already know what happened. But I unscrewed the tail lights to check on it, and a billow of smoke just comes flying out of it. And
What a surprise.
all the paper towels that I had used to prop up my tail lights were charred and powdery. They were black and powdery, just completely burnt to a crisp. So I went to paint a picture of what the drivers behind me saw, and
A crazy man.
So what they saw was a motorcycle going down the road with a plume of smoke coming out of the taillights as I'm going down the road. That's what other people saw the entire time I was heading home. So I'm actually kind of curious if my taillights lit up extra bright because there was a literal fire in my taillights. I'm curious if my my lights were really bright because of that. So
I don't think they ever stopped being bright. I think they were always on.
I think so.
I don't think they could ever tell when you were stopping.
Yeah. So I finally get home. I take that care of that, and there's just soot everywhere in that case. I had to take some like vinegar and a toothbrush and clean that whole case out. But my brakes work fine now, and yeah, that's the story of how I set my motorcycle on fire.
Did anything else catch fire or just the towels?
Thankfully, just the towels. I mean, the plastic that was on the tail lights did melt. I've got that sitting in my car right now, so it's just like a plastic lump of plastic. So
You're
technically,
so
yes, but
lucky.
it didn't spread anywhere.
If it got to anywhere where oil or gasoline was, you would have went up in flames while you were riding.
Oh my god, that would have been disastrous.
They would have thought you were.
I just want to know what people thought when I was driving down the road. Just this billow of smoke coming out of my bike. That was like so stupid.
That tells you people aren't kind anymore. Curious. They did not tell you like, "Hey, you good? Your thing's smoking." Like I would have honked. I would have honked at you until you pulled over to tell you.
I don't even know if I would have heard. My bike is very loud.
Oh, I would have kept honking.
Is that they weren't actually on fire for very long, because it does take a bit of time for the light bulbs to heat up and get to the point where they would be burning the paper towel.
Yeah.
So they were probably actually only burning the paper towels for a couple minutes
Possibly,
out of your drive.
Yeah. Well, it is only a 10-minute drive, so I mean, but also I know they were on fire because the entirety of the paper towels were just charred to black. There was no paper towel left. So that was fun.
That's just stupid.
Yeah, I know.
It's dumb. You'd never put something around paper towels, at least. You never put that around a light like that.
Well, those brake lights haven't been functioning for the last year and a half since I bought the bike. Me and my brother could never figure it out. I still need to call the shop and ask them what they did, because whatever they did, I need to do to my tachometer too.
You know what would have been funny? If the fire made it start. If the fire just made it start, like it fixed it. That would have been hilarious.
I don't think that's how that works, because the lights would have had to start first in order for the fire to start, not the other way around.
I know, but it would have been funny.
What is a tachometer, by the way?
Your RPM gauge.
Oh, okay.
And I just remembered something else. So I can tell the shop never took apart my taillight cover, because when they fixed my electricals in the shop, they told me, we got your brake light running and your brakes and your daytime running lights running, but they're very dim and we don't know why. And they didn't bother looking into it or anything because they were getting paid to. I literally just wanted them to do the master cylinder. The reason why is because there was a wad of paper towels in the way, and they didn't know that. So yeah, that's the story of how I set my motorcycle on fire. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Oh, hi everybody. I'm Evelyn, and this is my story of how I unexpectedly flew to Paris. So recently I planned a 4-day trip to London to attend an AI conference. It was I was like putting together my travel plans together at the last minute because I procrastinate. And at one point I like remembered to book my flight. So I went on Google Flights and searched like flights from New York to London on a certain date range. And like the cheapest result was there were like not that many flights left. But I found this one flight that would have taken off from JFK. I live in New York City. From JFK at 1:30 a.m. Eastern time and landed
Hold on.
in London.
Am I wrong? Or I thought JFK was in like Chicago or something.
No. JFK is in Eastern Queens.
Wow, for some reason I thought JFK Airport was like in Chicago or something. Okay. All right. Stupid me, I guess. Continue.
So
my head went somewhere else when you said JFK.
So I like looked for these flights and they were like 900, 700, 500, and I like picked the $500 option. No, maybe it was $560 option for a round trip, and it was through this third party this travel agency website called AirPaz.
That sounds official.
Yeah. So like I went through their checkout flow and I was like, oh wow, this process feels really straightforward. I wonder like I didn't think that booking travel would be this easy. So
our airline system is messed up when something that is easy is just suspicious.
If you don't have to go through excruciating pain, it's not American.
Yeah, I know. Like, seriously, I've tried to book flights because I was trying to find flights for a vacation recently, and oh my god, is it a pain? But that's something for another time.
So I checked out, and I paid with my credit card, and I waited. I did this at like midnight, and I waited for like 12 hours to
just
actually
sitting there for 12 hours
to get the tickets.
That
no, I went
sounds
to sleep.
more like American.
Yeah, so around I think 1 p.m. the next day, they finally mailed me my tickets. 13 hours later.
Like emailed?
Emailed, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say if they actually like physically mailed it to you in 13 hours, then holy crap.
That's fast mail.
I want whatever those guys are on.
Yeah, and I was like frantically Googling. Up until that point, I was like frantically Googling to see to find out if the website I had just if the website I had just booked tickets through was legit.
Why did you do that before?
You know, good point. Why didn't you do that before? If it was a place called what do you call it? Like AirFaz?
AirPaz.
AirPaz.
Air like P-A-Z. Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't AirPez? Are you sure it wasn't run by the candy company?
Are you sure it's not Airplace? And then just say Airplace? Like, that sounds so sketchy.
Yeah, I thought that I don't know, ADHD, I guess. I just didn't. Sometimes I forget to do key steps like that. But yeah, I was gonna like start a dispute through PayPal and then being like, where are my tickets? I want my money back, and I just booked through the airline directly. And then my tickets came, and I got a refund for the extra tickets that I got for myself. So
what you're saying is you basically got free tickets.
No. What I'm saying is that I
canceled it.
Yeah, I would have. What?
I was gonna say, if you bought tickets and then got a refund for them, I'm sure the airline would have canceled your tickets.
No. I bought I booked one set of round trip tickets for myself through the travel agency website. And I think what happened was they didn't like automatically book for me. Like they like slept for 13 hours and then woke up and manually went in and booked the tickets for me.
I see. Okay.
They hacked the airlines.
And I think they and I actually got a $10 credit to use their website.
What exactly you're gonna spend $10 on a travel agency website?
Well, no, a $10 discount.
So
just $10 discount. Okay.
they thought that much, but they couldn't put that much effort into the name.
Into like automation, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
Like,
gonna
it
say.
sounds so
It seems like automation for those kind of things is super easy. I'm surprised that travel agency didn't have that already.
Yeah. Yeah. So I bought the tickets through them, and then I bought like my own tickets because I wasn't sure if they were gonna actually send me my tickets. But then when they sent me my tickets, I got a refund for the tickets that I bought directly.
I see. Okay.
I would.
Gotcha.
You use your credit card, and you feel I would cancel those credit cards. The
Hold
credit
on,
cards you
one second.
use.
Your company is not paying for your flights?
I'm unemployed.
Then why are you going to a conference?
Good question.
It was a cheap, like, I just felt like it was just an interesting topic. I just wanted to be there.
Do you go to conferences trying to get a job?
You could just Google it. There's cheaper ways to learn about AI than flying halfway across the world to listen
She's
to
going there
some
for the
rich people
connections.
talk about AI.
Yeah,
She's going there for the connections.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, also the conference was technically free, but you were like encouraged to donate money.
Well, if you're spending $1,000, or no, you said it was round trips. If you're spending like $500 on tickets, Jesus.
Well, it was like 500, and then like whatever I ended up paying for the Airbnb and food and
Oh my
also the
gosh.
unemployment money that I was giving up by being outside the states.
It doesn't sound free to me. It's not really.
That sounds miserable.
No, but
And you did this for fun?
I did this for like the learning experience and
Aye.
for fun and everything. Yeah,
Jeez, just go to like your local college or something.
Yeah, well, I have my reasons.
Okay, well, continue on with the story.
Anyway, so anyway, like the day of the flight was like coming up, and I was like, am I gonna add a checked bag or a carry-on bag? I was like debating, I was mulling over that for a while, and I finally decided to add a carry-on bag. And this is North Atlantic. It's a low-cost airline. It doesn't so they will nickel and dime you for every little thing, including like onboard meals, your carry-on bag, the freaking headphones that usually come with your seat.
Oh my God.
That aren't that great anyway.
I've seen that before.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So the carry-on bag was $60 each way. For 120 total.
Yikes. Jeez.
Yeah.
I'd rather go on an airline from Goblin Airline.
I'd rather just drive across the ocean at this point. Like, jeez.
Hey, or we can go back to my idea. Those the fast walks.
Yes, we gotta go back to the fast walks, the fast paths.
Yeah.
Let's
just make sidewalks across the Atlantic Ocean, you know?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's build a giant bridge across the Atlantic Ocean. How hard could that be?
Tsunamis, earthquakes. Like, if our plates slightly even go further apart, it's not like the whole thing's gonna crack and all fall in the ocean.
What do you think the chances are of storms happening in the ocean? That'll never happen.
Hurricanes don't exist. They're just fake news, right?
That's
fake news, man. It's fake news.
I hate to burst your bubbles, guys, but my plane was flying at a little over 950 kilometers an hour.
Okay.
That's
I'm sure the
for
sidewalks we're about to build at right after this conversation will go at least that fast.
Yeah, for the Americans in the audience, that's about 600 miles an hour.
Thank you.
It is what?
Yes,
Well, I
thank
think
you.
it's like 590.
We are all Americans here.
Sorry, I used to live in
Something
Europe. I'm
like
trying to
that.
remember the conversion because there's six. Hold on, it is
1.609.
almost. It's just a little over 60%. So 950. Yeah, that's just a tad under. So about 590 miles an hour.
Yeah, just about that. Yeah. So I was paying. I was about to like pay for the carry-on bag, through the website, and my card got declined.
Oh no.
Oh.
And then, like, I tried my other cards. I tried every single card that I had on hand, and all of them got declined. And there was no option to, like, pay with PayPal or anything, which would have solved my problem for
The
me.
JFK airport doesn't like have like those phone. What are they? IFC, I think is what they're called.
This was the website. I also I eventually went to the airport and tried to pay for it there.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant you were at the airport when that happened. I see.
No, this was like 2 days before.
Okay.
And there was also this like I forget what the company was called, but like it was like Afterpay, Klarna, something like that. And like I didn't want to like my only other option besides using a credit card would have been to pay through this like pay later thing. And I didn't want to do that because I had just frozen my credit file and I didn't want to unfreeze it so that I could apply for the buy now pay later thing.
I see.
Have them check my credit.
Okay, so it's basically it's a mini credit line, is what it is. I'm assuming.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. That seems sketchy. Okay.
Yeah. So
Cancel card. Cancel card.
I didn't cancel my cards. My cards weren't the problem. I think I'm pretty sure the website or the airline was.
Huh. Okay.
Because I had like used my credit card to order lunch earlier the same day and it worked fine.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it was the next day. The next day I find out that like I'm about to head. I've just been like spending the afternoon packing and getting out to the preparing to like leave the house to go to JFK Airport. And I check the website to look at my tickets, and I find out that my flight to London has been switched from Friday to Sunday.
What? Okay.
And I would have been, with that flight, I would have been flying into London on like Monday morning at 6:45 a.m. or something.
I'm assuming that's like after the conference.
No, this would have been the very first day of the conference.
Okay.
And
so
I wanted to. I would have made it, but I would have been really tired and like unable to absorb any information.
Okay.
So I actually wanted to like go there a few days ahead of time, so I could like relax.
Now, quickly for context, where is this conference being held?
London.
Oh, right. You said London. That's right. Sorry, you said Paris in the beginning. I was confused on whether it was London or Paris. Okay, gotcha.
So this is where Paris comes in. So I get to the airport. I run to the airport just to find out like what is going on with my flight and like and see if anybody in person at the airline can do anything about it, because the airline has no customer service number. They have this
red flag.
They have an online chat interface
Oh
that
God, not those.
Oh my
like the
god.
last
we
time I
should-
tried to use it, it took like hours to hear back from an actual person.
Oh, I hate
Um,
those so much. Oh
Yeah.
God, I could go on for hours about stupid automation and phone trees and chatbots. Oh my God.
Back to
Yeah,
my
customer
day.
service is a nightmare.
Yeah, so I get to JFK. By the way, you take the E train from where I was to Jamaica Station, or Jamaica Van, whatever. And then transfer to the air train, and that's another. The subway ride is like $3, and then the air train is like another $8.50.
Damn.
To get to the airport. And so I get to JFK Terminal 7, and there is this long line of people standing outside the airport. Standing outside the like standing outside the entrance to the terminal. And I asked the person standing in front of me, "Hey, like what's going on? What's with all these people here?" And he says there's a bunch of people going to Rome and Paris. And he also says he happens to be on the same flight to London as me that got moved. And it turned out that he had actually gotten an email informing him that the flight had been canceled.
Entirely? Not even just like switch?
It had been canceled, and the airline automatically moved everybody onto the next available flight.
Okay.
Which in this case was Sunday at 6 p.m.
Okay, gotcha.
And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess we're in the same boat then. But as I was standing in the line, I was like, wait a second, there's a flight going to Paris. So tonight. So why don't I take, and it's an hour earlier than the London flight would have been. So why don't I take the flight? Why don't I take the plane to Paris, and then spend an afternoon in Paris, and then take the train across the channel into London, and then I'll be on schedule for the.
Yeah, because because there's a train that goes underneath the English Channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've been on that train before.
Yeah. So I eventually got to the front of the line, and I told them, like, I told the people at the kiosk, hey, I'm one of the people who've been moved off of the London flight tonight. Can you put me on the flight to Paris? And they were like, well, the flight to Paris is overbooked, but we can try to get you on. And then, like, 10 minutes later, they got me on.
Damn, okay.
And the guy was like, you owe us $120. And I was like, I couldn't pay online. Can you help me? I am really trying my best to, pay the 120. So he so I gave him my card. He swiped it. It got declined. And then I gave him my other card. It was like my debit card or something. And it also got declined. And there was, I didn't bring that many credit cards with me on the trip, because I just, for security reasons, I like to leave those at home.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, and he didn't have Google Pay either.
How does
So
an
I
airport
waited
that
like
have phone pay or something like that? Baffles me. That's
Yeah.
a high tech airport, high traffic airport.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I waited like 20 minutes to hear back from them, and they were like, okay, you know what? We're going to waive the fee. You're good.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
You're a
and
lot more
they-
understanding than other airports.
Yeah, and for a low-cost airline especially, they're like, yeah, forget it. We're not going to be able to get the money from you, so just go ahead. Like,
She's just like, we're not going to be able to gouge you for
Wow.
money. I guess you might as well go.
That's
yeah.
We don't have
so-
enough time to run your pockets.
Yeah, so by this time, the plane was scheduled to take off at 12:30 after midnight. And it was already 11:20. So I had to book it through that.
Oh yeah, I know what that's like.
You know,
Where's
get
the
through
gate? Where's the
security.
gate?
Yeah. Yeah, so I stood in the security line. It was actually pretty short. There were not that many people. But once I got on, it was like they make you take off your shoes, they make you take out your laptop and your Nintendo Switch and everything else. And like I mean, I went through security without a hitch. It was just a pain in the ass to get everything out of their bags. And then I had time to grab a yogurt parfait and a like protein bar.
Okay.
From a convenience store. Like all of the restaurants inside the terminal were closed because it was like midnight.
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
they were like on their final boarding call for the flight. So I just got on and got in line, and it was actually really smooth from there on. And I was on my way to Paris.
Okay.
Yeah, I was not expecting to go to Paris that evening. But I figured I would make the most of it. So like 7 hours later, I touched down in Charles de Gaulle Airport. And long story short, I get out of there with very little trouble. I bought a day pass through my phone plan. And for like a day's worth of data. Unfortunately, it did not work the entire time I was in Paris. So I was like jumping from public Wi-Fi network to public Wi-Fi network. But
okay.
Yeah, but I had a pretty chill time in Paris. The first thing I did was make my way to the Eiffel Tower, because I had been to Paris once before, but my friend and I didn't get to see the Eiffel Tower up close.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went there, and there was a short-ish line of people, but I didn't want to go inside because I didn't really have time, and also I didn't want to go to the trouble of like I didn't want to like I was carrying my luggage with me, and I didn't want to
You didn't want to carry with you the entire way?
No. I didn't. They were checking bags, and I didn't want to like get. I didn't want to deal with that stuff on this trip. So, and also it was raining in Paris.
Oh, great! Of course, it's raining. It's always raining over there.
Yeah. So I saw the tower up close. I saw like the elevators going up and down. There were like different colors of elevators. I'm not really sure. And it was pretty nice to like see the tower through the trees, which was cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So I stood there for about 15 minutes, and then like started walking back, and there were these ducks, and I actually like took pictures of them because they were kind of cute. And then there's also this like Japanese cultural center near the Eiffel Tower. And I looked at it from the outside, and then I tried to go in, but they were like, "No, you can't bring your bags in here." Like, okay. But they have a gift shop at the ground floor, and there was like Goku and other anime stuff. There was also like traditional Japanese cultural stuff. And after that, I took the train to Gare du Nord, which is where the Eurostar train from Paris to London.
That's the name of it. Yes,
Yeah.
hold on. Sorry, I just have to interrupt you because while you were telling your story, I googled what the train is I took when I was younger. It's the Eurostar. That is the same train I took.
Oh, you took it to Paris and then another
Yeah,
one to
apparently.
Germany?
Yeah, apparently that is what happened because I was like 5 years old when we took that, but I used to live right outside of London, so yeah, we ended up taking the train from London to Paris, and then from Paris all the way up to Bieber, Germany. So apparently, yeah, it's the Eurostars one I took. I don't remember them specifically just because I was like 5 years old, but that is the same train, so.
That's cool. Yeah. So like an hour or two later, I got on the Eurostar train. And there's like I got some food before I got on the train, but there was also a dining car, and the food was okay. I think it was like it was decent. And I got to look outside the window and just see like rural France, lots of wind turbines, lots of trees, probably lots of farmland.
Germany
and
has
then
a lot
the
of
train,
wind turbines.
What?
I was gonna say, yeah, Germany has a lot of wind turbines. They're everywhere, even in France. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then the train like went through a bunch of tunnels, short tunnels, and I was like, "Are we in the tunnel yet?" But it was like over as soon as it started. This wasn't the tunnel, because I had never been in the tunnel before. But then, at one point, it like started. The train started slowing down. There were fences, like it was going into a trench, and there were fences at the top of the sides of the trench. And then it went into this tunnel. And it was pitch dark, except for like the lights on the sides of the tunnel, that were like faint and green. And after about a minute, I realized we were in the tunnel.
Yeah, that's something I didn't really get to experience because when I was in the tunnel, we were in the vehicle compartment because there are some cars that you literally drive your car onto. And that's where we were for when we were doing. So I didn't even get to see anything. They didn't have windows, so yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get to experience that, but
yeah, I think the trains go at like top speeds of 100 miles an hour through the tunnel.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine though, like trains carrying cars going that fast.
Yeah, I know. There's a fast train. It's a powerful train.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it was kind of like the tunnel itself was kind of underwhelming, but it was because you couldn't see anything. But it was cool just to see like. It was cool just to like know that I was in the tunnel.
How cool would it be if the tunnel was just completely made of glass? That would be so cool.
Like the one that we have made in Gale Beach.
Oops, I just bumped my table. Yeah, basically, with the glass dome, basically. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could like look above and around you and see like sharks and fish swimming around.
I don't think the water would be that clear. Also, I think the tunnels are too deep for that, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not enough light would get down there, I don't think. But still, it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. But I arrived in London shortly after that. We like surfaced on the English side, and I was like, oh, I'm in England now, and also my data actually works now.
Okay.
And like the time, like I knew I was in England because like the time changed on my phone to an hour earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. So fast forward to Thursday. Thursday was the day that I was supposed to fly back to New York. And I was getting out of my checking out of my friend's hotel. Brought my luggage with me on the train to London Gatwick Airport, which is like it's like 45 minutes south of London. It's like halfway between London and the southern coast of England.
What's it called again?
Gatwick.
I've heard of it. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a quick
The
question.
airport I usually come into London from is Heathrow.
Did you ever happen to pass through a place called Crown?
No.
Okay. It's on the, I think it's the east side of London, but that's around the area where I used to live.
That's cool.
I just didn't know if you passed through there.
So
cramp.
as I'm
Be quiet, Jake.
I got cramp. Sorry.
Good.
good.
I do.
Sorry, I was eating something. You can continue.
Yeah.
I think Jake's done complaining.
Okay. So I was while I was on the train, I checked my ticket again to see like what time, and then it showed another notification saying, "We're sorry, we had to cancel your flight. We put you on a flight to London to New York the following day at 1 p.m."
Okay.
I was like, damn it. Canceled my flight again. So I was already on the way to Gatwick. And I went to the I went to the airport to like ask what the heck is going on. And they told me that there's like the flight's canceled. The only other flight you can really get on is this one at 1 p.m. Which meant that I would have had to get up at like 8 a.m. to get to the airport in time.
Oh no. A reasonable time to wake up? What a travesty.
Yeah, well, I was jet lagged at this point. And also
I guess so.
I'm not a morning person. So they told me like, oh, you're like, we automatically got you accommodations at the hotel nearby, which is like a 5-minute walk away.
Nice.
Yeah, and there's free meals. So I start like looking for the hotel, and I walked through an elevated corridor out of the airport terminal to like the building that houses the train station, and then down to the ground level. And I was like looking for the hotel, and I was like walking in circles around the parking lot to try to find the passageway that takes you to the hotel. And I couldn't find it. And it was, and then I saw, as I like went around to the back of the parking lot, and I saw this elevated passageway sticking out of the parking lot building and connecting to the hotel on the other side. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's where I have to go. How do I get up there? And then I walked, like, I was trying to find an entrance, but I couldn't. And then I like walked through the parking lot to get to the other side of the building. And then I like took an elevator up to, I think it was the first or second floor. They count floors differently in England. And I eventually found the passageway, and I got to the hotel. And I had a really good dinner at the buffet. And then I went to sleep, and got up the next day with an alarm. and had a good breakfast. Again, free of charge. And then
Hell yeah, free
I was
food's
on my
always good.
Yeah, and then I checked in at the airport, and the rest of my trip was pretty smooth.
Okay, you made it back home without being mugged by anyone in an alleyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's all I hear about that's all I hear about in London is people jumping out at you with knives, like, give me your wallet.
Well, I didn't get mugged at London. I
Yeah,
stayed in.
You missed out on a real London experience.
Yeah. Well, I stayed in Shoreditch, which is like kind of it's like on the east side of London. It seemed like it might be kind of sketchy, but it was actually not. It was like there's all these pubs and people walking around and partying in the evenings.
Okay, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. There's a lot of like cool murals and graffiti too.
Well, I was gonna never mind. I was gonna say something. I'm not gonna say that. So you made it back home to New York without a problem, then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I do have one question though. You said you had an AI conference. Is this a conference about AI, or were you in a conference with AI? You're just sitting around. You're just sitting around the table. There's just a bunch of androids sitting around the table. It's like, we must kill all humans. Yes, I agree. We must kill all humans.
Nah, so like the first day of the conference, there were a bunch of something happened.
What happened? I think Jake woke up.
Oh, I fell off my chair.
Morning, Jake.
Dog, get off me.
Well,
I'm on the ground and my dog is attacking me.
Okay.
Help!
Jake's a dog person.
If anybody knows, if anybody knows how to call an ambulance, I think Jake is dying currently. So, if any of you in the audience wish to save Jake's life, call the correct number, but not the wrong one, so that way somebody may save Jake's life, because it certainly won't be me.
Your toenails.
What?
Everybody I know.
He has sharp nails.
Oh, I thought you said I'm clipping my toenails.
No, I said I'm clipping his nails.
Oh.
He won't let me get up!
Dog?
Yes! I usually don't get ground level with him.
I feel like everybody I know is a cat person.
I am a cat person. Tupelo is literally sitting right here. Hey, buddy.
Don't make me throw you in your kennel.
Fluffy. Tupi is so adorable.
Let me get
I know a lot of dog people. I probably know more dog people than cat people, but definitely.
He's not letting me get up. He is holding on to one of my things that connected to my microphone. So if I get up, it's gonna rip it out. So he's like holding me hostage.
Oh gosh. It's funny how that works, Eli.
Leave me alone.
Damn. Too bad nobody's gonna be able to save you.
I got up.
Jesus.
Congratulations. I think
Jake has been viciously mauled by a cow and a dog.
Oh, I've been mauled by more.
I'm sure you have.
Don't stop trying to take my socks.
What?
He's trying to. I have like a pair of extra socks beside me. He's trying to grab them.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, this has been. What did you say the title was?
PTT break room.
What? No, not you.
Oh, her.
Sorry.
Whoops.
I unexpectedly went to Paris.
This has been
flew to
that.
Paris.
It has been 40 minutes. We'll see you guys next time. This is running on for 4 times as long as it should.
I got a great new story for another episode.
Oh my god.
All right,
40
goodbye.
minutes.